Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. Good morning and welcome to the first day and the first session of this year's Booking Manager Summit. It's lovely to see you all here. And for our first session, I would like to announce Mr. Micheal Virardi. Thank you. Please, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Maya, for your introduction. Let me say just a few words about Micheal. Uh, in the last 2 years, because we had the pandemic going on, I couldn't be as productive as I wanted in the office. So I became more productive at home. So can we have the presentation, please, Nadia? Can we have the presentation on? Thank you. As I said, the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, I couldn't be as productive as I wanted in the office. So I became more productive at home, and this is the result of that productivity. The twins, the 18-month-old twins, Hector and Marianda. The other baby you see in the photo, and I'm not talking about the 34-year-old, that's my wife, Christine, is our firstborn son, Rolando, who's 10 years old. My second hobby, which has an affiliation to what most of you are doing, and because I live on a very beautiful island, Cyprus, not as beautiful as Croatia from what I have seen, but still a picturesque island which enjoys 330 at least sunny days out of the 365. So every morning when I wake up, this is how I start my day. I start my day with a swim. So there's your affiliation to the sea that most of you have. Before we go on to our presentation of the day, I would love to have your opinion. So I would like you, please, to go onto your smartphones. I want to ask you 2 questions for an anonymous survey. No one will know what you have voted. And I would like you, please, to go to menti.com. If you can visit the website menti.com. If anyone wants the password, it's behind your badge. You can turn your badge around. You can see the password, and you can go on. Go to menti.com. And as soon as you get to menti.com, let's go back to the first question. Can you please recall an outstanding experience? What made it so outstanding? What made it so outstanding? Be it at a restaurant you have visited, it can be at a hotel, it can be on a sailing cruise. What made it so outstanding that would make you come back? The first is price. It can be you got a great deal. The second is the people's attitude, the way they were friendly, they were enthusiastic, they were helpful. The people's knowledge, if it was at a restaurant, they knew their menu inside out. If it was at a hotel, they knew their facilities. If it was on a sailing boat, they knew the routes and the weather conditions. The product quality, the food was great, the facilities were great, the sailing boat was pristine and in good condition and in cleanliness. And I'm giving you 2 votes, just in case it's none of them, you can vote other, so I can ask you an open-ended question at the end, what was that other? You have 2 votes each. So from what we see up to now, the staff's attitude together with the product and service quality, some people got a great deal, and that made the experience amazing. That would make you want to go back again and again. So we have 14 votes coming in. Let's wait for another vote or 2 to come in to see. 16 votes. So in position number 1, it's the product and service quality, followed very closely with the people's attitude. Thank you very much. If we can go back to the presentation, please. And I have to agree with you, my dear friends. People's attitudes play a great role. And I will give you a recent example. For the last 7 years, my family and I were visiting an amazing resort in Messina, Greece, called Costa Navarino. And this resort, my dear friends, has been immaculate in the way people were treating us. From the way they greet you, to the way they treat you, to the way they remember your name year in and year out for the last 7 years that we've been going, except the last year. And they are always very friendly. They know your preferences in food preferences, they know your preferences in pillow preferences, and they record them down. And the manager, his name is Achilleas Dorotheu, who has left the hotel just a few months ago after many years, has an amazing management practice. Every day he meets with his heads of departments at 11 a.m. and at 5 p.m. All heads of departments mention the problems that have arisen the previous evening and also in the morning. And until 5 p.m., all the heads of departments have to solve the problems. And they don't call it a guest problem or a customer problem. They call it a hotel problem. Because if they do solve the problem, they gain your loyalty and they will get you to come back again and again. And they do pride themselves that they get people to come back again and again and again. Even the great Cristiano Ronaldo, who came for the first time in 2017, came again in 2018. And that was when Juventus came to sign him. It was at that hotel, and they got the transfer from Real Madrid to Juventus. And Achilleas Dorotheu left the company just a few months ago. So I contacted the person who I felt most comfortable with, in order for our family to go to the same resort again. And that person took 1 month to answer my email. When she answered the email, it was all about what she cannot do. No, we cannot do that. Sorry, we are fully booked. The pandemic is almost over. We cannot give you an upgrade. You cannot have the same room. And we're sorry, but you have to pay double the price this time. And this led us to astray, and we went for holidays to another place. So at the end of the day, success, my dear friends, as we will see today, is a chain. And you are as strong as your weakest link. Let me ask you a question. In a Boy Scout march, does anyone know which Boy Scout is the one that determines the tempo of the march? Does anyone know? Which is the Boy Scout that did, excuse me? The slowest, correct, very correct, because they wait for the Boy Scout to catch up. But your customers, unlike Boy Scouts, will not wait for you to catch up. So we're as strong as our weakest link. So it was people who got us there and people who got us out of there. As Cindy Alice, who's a skipper, and I had the good fortune of interviewing her, told me, and it was really engraved in my mind, a skipper can make or break a week. And she's right, because two things can make or break a week. The weather, which is not up to us, it's up to God, except you are a firm believer and you start praying. And secondly, it's the skipper's attitude, the way they come across, how friendly and flexible they are. But at the same time, Cindy, I talked with a young, very successful Greek lawyer, and I flew to Athens to interview him. And Argyris Pentiniotis, who goes on to a yacht every year, he told me something else. The salesperson or the customer service representative who answers the phone at the agency or the fleet operator can make or break your experience in 1 second. So it was at that time that I thought to myself, and this is the title of our today's presentation, one journey, many skippers. Not only the literal skipper on the boat, but also the skippers who either skip you to the sail and straight to the skipper on the sailing boat, or they skip you to their competition. So today's presentation is mainly focused on the first skippers as well as the skipper on the boat, on the sailing boat. And there is something very important. Do you know which is the number one reason people stop doing business with a company? The number one reason. Most people think it's rudeness, but it's not rudeness, it's indifference. When people don't pay attention to you, you walk in and they are talking on the phone, or they delay 1 month to answer your email. Indifference is the number one reason. What we will learn today is how to turn a simple customer service experience into an amazing customer service experience. And we will do this today by following a 4-step formula. The 4-step formula we will do is easy to implement, and you can start doing it by this afternoon. But what's easy to do, it's also easy not to do. So let me start with the formula. The first impression, the double L mission, tension versus trust, And last but not least, the last impression. If you follow this formula, you will increase your sales, you will increase your margins, you will increase your profitability, you will be a differentiated professional, and you will increase your word of mouth. And word of mouth means having people on your payroll without being your employees and without paying them. And if you tell me, but Michael, you don't understand, our industry is booming currently. I will tell you what my late father sent us in 2008, on the 9th of September 2008, when our family business, which is in the HoReCa industry, hotels, restaurants, and catering institutions, we provide hotels with catering equipment and tabletop supplies, gave us when we were going through our best year in our 50-year history. He gave us a note, both to my elder brother Giovanni and myself, to place in our files. And the note was the most succinct note my late father has ever given us. It read two things. Nothing is too big not to fail. Blockbusters, Lehman Brothers, Nokia, even the Costa Navarino chain that is doing amazingly well. And nothing in life is permanent. The Mediterranean might not enjoy the same weather conditions as we enjoy them. And when seas become turbulent, people might opt for other holidays. So now that you're booming and now that you're doing great, this is the time to implement it. A person who's doing great, a company who's doing great, needs to be humble during the boom times. So let's start with the first one. The first impression. According to psychologists, the first 7 to 30 seconds are very crucial. Within 7 seconds of a customer walking into your premises or talking on the phone with a prospect or a customer, they make subliminal decisions if they like you or not. Within 30 seconds, they have come to a conscious decision if they want to work with you or not. Let me give you an example. Before Costa Navarino, I used to go to Sharm el-Sheikh at the Four Seasons. Amazing hotel, excellent treatment. It's the people who got us there year after year. And one year, my personal assistant told me, why don't you go to the other hotel? It's also vast, it has great facilities, and half the price. So we decided with my wife to go to the other hotel. We arrived in the evening, the reception was half lit. There was no one behind the reception desk, and no one arrived for 5 minutes. No greeting us with drinks like they did at the Four Seasons. They asked for our ID and a credit card without even welcoming us. They gave us a card to go to the room, and the facilities were so huge, it took us 15 minutes to find the room. We slept with Christine. We woke up the next day. Thank God we got a refund, and we went back to the Four Seasons. So the first 7 to 30 seconds are crucial. From the moment the skipper welcomes people on the sailing boat to the moment you answer your phone in your company. And because it's so crucial, when I wrote my first book, Positive Impact, I had a chapter in there titled 10 times 10 times 10. And the chapter, Nadia, says the following: people judge you from 10 meters away, from 10 inches away, and from your first 10 words. What do people judge from 10 meters away? They judge, I wish, our kindness, but they judge our appearance. So if you're a skipper on a sailing boat, I'm not saying dress with a suit, but at least on the first day, have your shirt ironed and not stained. If you are on the phone, okay, they cannot see you, but still, dress as the best professionals in your industry are dressing. What do people judge from 10 inches away? Your aura, your smile or lack of it. The Chinese say the person who cannot smile should not open a shop. And the skipper who cannot smile should not skip a sailing boat, because what they want to see in the first few seconds is a smile welcoming them in. And if you have people on the phone answering the phone calls, I would suggest get them to stand up, because you have a different energy talking on the phone whilst standing. When we mystery shopped with my assistant, we noticed there was a lot of background noise. Some of the companies are here in this auditorium, in this conference room. So kill the noise at the back. I don't know, by secluding rooms or find a way, but there was a lot of noise. So the 10 inches, and then your first 10 words. My dear friends, if you want to be a differentiated professional, I suggest that you use positive rather than negative words. And for today's session, I'm going to use 5 negative and 5 positive. I'm start with the negative, so I'll finish on a positive note. Let's start with the negative ones. The first word is unfortunately. Unfortunately, says the skipper, we cannot sail to Hydra because there will be a lot of sailing boats and we will not be able to get into the marina. The good news is that if we finish earlier from our swim, we get into Hydra at 4 p.m. because all sailing boats will come at around 6, so we can get you into Hydra. Don't tell me what you cannot do. Tell me what you can do. The next negative word is a word that the average person, from the moment they wake up, from the moment they open their eyes in this world, until the moment they die, they mention it 118,000 times. In Cyprus and Greece, we love it so much that whenever a referendum comes up, we vote for it. Do you know which is that word? Exactly. No. No, 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 no. Don't tell me that you cannot have the proposal by 8 p.m. Tell me what you can do. If I'm meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. with my friends to discuss if we're going to come with your company and we're going to get your deal, ask me. Instead of saying, no, I cannot send it today, when will you be deciding, Mr. Virardi? It's going to be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Okay, sir, by tomorrow 9 a.m. you will have it. The other expression, the negative expression, not everyone agrees with me whenever I say it, is I will try. I will try means 50% I will make it, 50% I won't. If I made it, I told you I'll try, did it? If I don't, I told you I'll try. But I don't care if people don't agree with me, I agree with myself, so I have to tell you. So I will try. Don't try to get it. Get it. If you want an extension on time, ask for an extension on time to deliver it. But don't try to do things. Do things. The best professionals give promises that they meet. For the next expression, negative expression, may I ask you please to close your eyes and don't open them until I tell you, and also don't talk. Let's go. Especially also for the people who are watching us live. Close your eyes. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to tag in my clothes and I didn't want to go to the toilet. Thanks a lot. Just joking. This is when you are asking people to wait for 1 minute on the phone. 1 minute, please. But 1 minute is 60 seconds. I only left you 32 seconds. It's a long time. Let me connect you to the right person, because one skipper might connect you to the other skipper because they might not know the information. So don't let them wait. If it's a lot of things and if you cannot find someone, come back, get their phone number and call them back. And for some companies that are here in this conference, and I know, kill that techno music whilst waiting because it's too loud on the phone. Too loud. I know I'm 50 years old, but I have a feeling it's piercing the eyes of people who are 25 as well. So 1 minute. The next expression, my dear friends, is, how are you today? Oh, I'm alive. I'm surviving. Come on. They see a skipper on the sailing boat, first thing in the morning, they want to tell them, I'm doing great. I'm doing well. They want to see a smile. You talk on the phone, people think they're cool. My late father was going through cancer and hemodialysis. He never complained. When you ask him, Rolando, how are you doing? He said, I'm doing great. My mother is going through cancer now. Whenever you ask her how you're doing, I'm doing great. So if we are in full health, why should we be complaining? Why should we be saying, I'm alive, okay, I'm surviving? It's not cool. I believe it's not cool. Other people are going for hemodialysis or any other treatment, and we are going for education. So we are the lucky ones. We shouldn't be complaining, and people who have problems don't complain most of the times. So now let's go to the positive words. The other person's name is the sweetest ring, the sweetest sound in their ear. Use it. Use the other person's name. When my assistant Max Pleasance made the mystery shopping, he voted and he gave me higher grades to the agents or fleet operators that use his name. Hello, Max. Yes, Mr. Pleasance. Of course, Max. Yes, Max. Let's do that, Max. So use the other person's name. Their mother and father were very happy and very proud when they baptized them or when they gave them that name. So use it. And it's not Micheal Virardi who says that. The person who says that is the #1 author in the world His book is only second behind the Bible. Dale Carnegie in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And I knew you read it because I can see from your body language. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book that I highly suggest that you read if you haven't read it, or buy some copies for your people who are back at the office to read it. Thank you and please. The great Henry Ford from Motor Ford, from the cars, he took 2 candidates for dinner. They had the same GPA, grade point average, from the same university, amazing engineers. He would hire only one of the 2. They went for dinner. They finished the dinner. As soon as they got outside the restaurant, he said, "You're hired and you're not." And the one that wasn't hired summoned the courage and said, "Mr. Ford, we never spoke about business. Why are you hiring my colleague and you're not hiring me? I just want to ask." "For 2 reasons, he said. Mr. Ford said. "First, your colleague tried his steak and then he put salt. You put salt before trying your steak. I like people who try things and then make changes. And secondly, and perhaps most importantly, your colleague was polite to everyone. He was saying thank you and please to the waiters. You were only polite to me. I like people who are polite across the hierarchy." Certainly, superb and great. Certainly, we can get your proposal out by tomorrow 9 a.m. Yes, great, sir. Thank you very much. Use positive words. They vibrate. It makes people feel better. And the difference between ordinary and extraordinary in the English language, it is written exactly the same. The only difference is that little extra in front. Do that little extra on a daily basis for each and every skipper on this one journey. Let's go to the second point in the 4-step formula, the double L mission. Thomas Kazakos is the Consulate General of the Cyprus Shipping Chamber. And one day when I interviewed him, he told me an amazing true story. He was having dinner at a party with 2 admirals in their white uniforms. One admiral was very talkative. He wouldn't shut up. The other admiral was very silent. So Thomas asked the admiral after half an hour, who was very silent, "Admiral, can I ask you something? Why are you so silent?" And the admiral said, "I'm on a double L mission." And Thomas said, "What's a double L mission?" "Listen and learn," the admiral said. Listen and learn, because by listening, we learn, even if we're knowledgeable and we know our industry inside out. So the first thing your people should be doing, or you should be doing, is listening and learning to your customers' concerns. If they tell you that they are coming with kids and elderly people, then probably you will give them a catamaran instead of a sailing boat, because you won't make it difficult for the elderly to go down into the cabins and make it dangerous for the kids. Listen and learn to what they need. If somebody is not well versed with yachting and they want, for example, to try yachting, maybe a self-tucking jeep can be a suggestion you make, because you heard that they want to try and it will make it easier for them to skip. So by listening, you learn, you become a more knowledgeable professional in order to serve your customers. And one point before I move on from this one, always make notes. Always make notes. As the proverb says, and which is very important, we do not have a very good memory to remember everything. Pale ink is more retentive than the most retentive of memories. Let me repeat that. Pale ink is more retentive than the most retentive of memories. Make notes. So when tomorrow your customer tells you that tomorrow is my wife's birthday, please send us all the proposals because I want to make a decision. Don't start by sending a template like the templates I got. Start by saying, "Happy birthday to your wife, Micheal Virardi." If you start like that, you tailor make your proposal and it's still a template. So listen and learn. Because if you listen and learn, you go to the next step, which is tension versus trust. Many people ask me, "Micheal, what is sales? What is customer service? What is customer experience?" And I can explain it with a 2-day seminar, with a one-day seminar that is all paid, but I can explain in the next 5 minutes, complimentary. And they all tell me explain in the next 5 minutes, complimentary. So sales, customer service, and customer experience is a ratio. It starts with high tension, low trust, if you don't know the person. So who's the speaker who's coming up to speak? Micheal Virardi, high tension, low trust. Does he know his subject? If he doesn't, high tension, low trust. Can he bring value? If he cannot, high tension, low trust. You promise to send a proposal at 10 a.m. the latest, and you haven't sent it until 12 p.m., high tension, low trust. But if you surpass expectations and you send it by 9 a.m., lower tension, higher trust. And it goes like this. So tension versus trust is very important. You need to reverse it from high tension to low trust to high trust and low tension. And we need to do it in 6 B's. Let's look at the 6 B's. Number 1, be knowledgeable. My brother Giovanni, when I started working for our family business, told me, do you know the definition of being knowledgeable? And I said, knowing a lot of things. Well, something like that, he told me, but it's something else. It's having mental freedom to concentrate on the other person you have opposite you, to concentrate on their body language. If you don't know your subject, you look into your leaflets. If I came up with a leaflet and say, okay, now let's go to the 4th one, it would be my mouth doing the talking and not my heart doing the talking. So being knowledgeable is having mental freedom to concentrate on the other person or on your task as a skipper. You know, there is a story, maybe some of you have heard it, but I have to mention this story. It's a very precise story and a humorous one about being knowledgeable. There was a factory once that it stopped working, and all the workers were waiting for the factory to start running again, and they called in an expert. So the expert came, he opened the box, he saw a screw that wasn't well screwed, he screwed it back. They thanked him, the factory started working, and then they asked him how much, and he said 10,000 euros. And they told him, what do you mean 10,000 euros? Can you please break down your invoice to see why it's 10,000 euros? And he said, of course. And he sent an invoice by saying 9,999 euros for knowing where to look, and €1 for screwing it back. So guys, knowledge gives you the mental freedom to know. And it is important not only to ask where you want to go, but why do you want to go? Why do you want to go on holidays? Because my cousin went last year with your company. Because they went on the same route and they enjoyed it. Because it's my wife's this and my husband's that. Find out. Why is more important than what. And it makes you more knowledgeable, but you have to listen. Being knowledgeable is not enough. I have seen in my career that I have progressed, not because I'm the best, because even if you're 1 in a million, in a 7 billion population, there are another 7,000 speakers like you, or professionals like you, or skippers like you. So why would they hire you? Why would Croatia call to hire you? So you have to be something else more than the best, because there's always someone else who's better than you. What I have found in my career is being prompt is an amazing competitive advantage. If you go onto my website and you go to the contact page, you will see that I will contact you back in the 777 formula. In 7 seconds, if I'm not doing anything, I will answer immediately. In 7 minutes, if I'm doing something, I want to finish it and come back to you. Or in 7 hours, that not a presentation, but a workshop lasts, I will answer in 7 hours. Because I don't know who came up with the 24-hour rule. Maybe it was during the pigeon times when they carried messages, but you need to be prompt. You're going to do it anyway. Why not do it faster than your competition? Why not being prompt? Why not get it out of the way? Because if you're prompt, you are the next thing. You're also concerned. It's one thing doing your job. It's another thing performing a ritual. And when you perform a ritual and people come on, they are more faithful to you. And that's how you gain their loyalty. The next one is be willing to defend your prices. When Max Pleasance called some of the companies, or all of the companies, a dozen companies or so, most of them gave us a discount without even asking for one, even though we were in our budget. And the question is, if I go and buy jewelry for my wife online, and by saying, hello, sir, I'm interested in this one. Yes, from 500 to 150. Immediately, our tension will go up and trust will go down. if they drop the price immediately. So my question is, why drop the price when it's within the budget? And when I'm doing sales seminars, I always say, if you want to drop the price, make them work hard for it. So for example, you will be paying 50% now and 50% on the day of delivery, for example. I will drop it to 100 if you pay all of it up front. Make them work for it. People will appreciate it more if they work for it. When we were at school in Cyprus or in your countries, education was free. We didn't appreciate it as much as when we went to university and we worked 2 jobs to pay for our tuition fees. Be ready to surprise and delight. I gave you the example with the birthday earlier on. Surprising and delighting people is having tailor-made proposals. Surprising and delighting people is avoiding the word unfortunately as the skipper and the word no, and I will try, don't try. Either do it or don't do it. But also, after I interviewed a lot of people who have gone on a sailing boat and on an excursion for a week, they told me when you get to the marina, it's havoc, and you are also the hostage of the company when you get there. If they tell you, I don't want 3,000, I want 3,500 as a deposit, you will give it because you won't be going on there. So also eliminate surprises. Eliminate surprises so they feel as your guests, not as your hostages. I'm not saying they feel as your hostages, but eliminate also surprises from the equation. And last but not least, be you. If you're Italian, talk like the Italian. Be the Italian stallion. Talk like this. Be yourself. Don't pretend to be somebody else. Don't try to pretend that you have a Cockney accent. You know what I mean? No, be yourself. Everyone else is taken. If you are yourself and you are authentic, people will appreciate you. Think about it. Which are the politicians we admire most? The ones that have graduated from Harvard, London School of Economics, and Oxford, and they use words that we don't understand, or the ones that speak plain language, and we can relate, and we can build a rapport with? I don't know if we like any politicians, but the ones that we do. Okay. So with this, we go to the last part, which is the last impression. Because if there is a first impression, there has to be a last impression. As the saying goes, first impression lasts, last impression counts. Rebecca was a great girl until she killed her sister. So it's good to have a last impression. Let me tell you a story here, a true story. My wife, Christine, started 5 years ago working for an Israeli company called Amdocs. This is a $4 billion company, software, very successful. And when she got the job, she was offered insurance for free for everything. So I called the insurance agent, Lagis, and I said, Lagis, can we please cancel Christine's insurance? He said, why? He's a friend, by the way. We play football together. He said, why? Because Lagis, Christine got a job at Amdocs and they offer everything. Michael, I thought you were a smart person, but it seems to me you're not that smart. What do you mean? What happens if they fire Christine from Amdocs? You won't be able to enjoy the same premium. I said, Lagis, I don't care. Please ask your manager to call me, because I got upset. Then his manager calls me the next day, Gullis Savidis. So I get a call from Gullis Savidis from Universal Insurance. Michael, first of all, congratulations to Christine for getting a job at Amdocs. It's not easy to get a job in that company. Thank you very much, I said. Can you please tell me which insurance do they have at Amdocs? I said, MetLife. Okay, do you know what it includes? I don't know what it includes, but it includes everything they told me. Can you get me a copy of the medical insurance before I give you my 5 cents and tell you what I think? I said, okay, I'll do my best to have it. From the moment you send it to me, he said, within 24 hours, I will have an answer for you. So I got it to him, and within 12 hours, under promise and over deliver, he had an answer. He called me, he said, Michael, if I was in your shoes, I would stop our insurance and start with MetLife. They even cover the dentist. And congratulations once again, and I would do this thing. But 1 second, I wanted to tell you something, Michael. If for any reason Christine quits Amdocs, not they stop her, not they fire her, she quits Amdocs, which it happened 2 years ago, you won't be able to enjoy the same premium that Christine has now at this age. So what I suggest is downgrade your insurance premium from 1,500 to 500, go from A to C, which doesn't cover this, doesn't cover this, doesn't cover this, doesn't cover this. But at least if Christine wants to come back because she was going to another company, we can get her on the same premium. And that's what we did. And from that moment on, a great lesson came above, and I've written a blog post on it. Lose the sale, but don't lose the relationship. Lose the sale because it's not a 100-meter sprint, it's a marathon out there, but don't lose the relationship. So when I asked Max Pleasance to reject all the companies that we mystery shopped, and this is the only time I will mention a company name, I have to take my hat off to Taber and any representative in this room, because the Taber representative said, Max, thank you for informing us. We appreciate it a lot. If you need any help before your sailing boat trip or during, I'm here for you. And please feel free next year to look us up to continue from there. So congratulations for doing that. Lose the sale, but don't lose the relationship. So, in closing, just to recap the 4 steps. The first impression is very important because first impression lasts. And the first 7 to 30 seconds are crucial. Make sure that your first seconds are spent with positive words, positive expressions. When you greet them on the sailing boat, with a smile. As I said earlier, the person who cannot smile should not open a shop. The skipper who cannot smile should not skip. Secondly, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them in that proportion. Listen twice and talk only once. Thirdly, everything in life, be it sales, be it customer care, be it customer experience, starts with high tension and low trust. Our aim as literal skippers on the boat, or skippers, salespeople and customer representatives, is to lower the tension and increase the trust. And finally, last impression counts. The last impression is very important because we are not in it for one try only, we are in it for the long term. So in closing, my dear friends, I would like to refer to the words of Howard Schultz, the owner of Starbucks, who said, we are not in the coffee business serving people. We're in the people business serving coffee. And the same holds true for you, my dear friends. You are not agents in the B2C, business to consumer. You are not in the B2B, business to business or business to consumer, but you are in the age to age, human to human industry. And in the human to human industry, what's important is people buy your passion before they buy your product or your service. As the great Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, there is no favorable wind for the sailor who doesn't know where to go. And today, we want to go from a mere customer service to an amazing customer experience with this formula. Thank you very much. I have a small present for every one of you, so you will remember one thing that I consider very important. So Nadia, if I may ask you to bring it to the people here, it's in there, thank you. And hand out, yes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, please. This is a small coaster to have in front of you, so you will remember what we've said in a nutshell. Maybe your colleagues can help you, so we can pass it on. Yes, please. Do we have a microphone? Would you like, can we pass the microphone here? I love your smile, yes.
Is it working? The 10
times 10 times 10.
10. Does that change, or has it changed with generations? So I feel like we have a shorter attention span at the moment than we did, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Do you think it's smaller and smaller with time, or has it always been the same?
The 10-10-10 is not about the time frame. The 10-10-10 is about the impression. The first impression, the impression you get from the 10 inches, and also from your 10 first words. It's when I came out at breakfast today and we sat together, my feeling for Cindy was positive because I knew it, but my feeling for you was positive as well. It was the first impression. It doesn't matter which generation I belong to or which generation you belong to. It was your smile, the way you greeted me, the way you said, please sit down, the way you moved your things from your chair. You could have left me standing there, wanting to sit with two ladies and going to sit somewhere else. But it's the first impression, it's not the time frame. And it's not about attention, it's about grabbing the attention, but we're talking about the first few seconds. So I don't believe it has changed much, because as I said in a recent interview, when they asked me in Greece for KPMG, I believe in generations, but I don't believe so much. I believe that the first trainers are your parents. They are the ones who started everything, or the people who raised you. So some things will never grow old, or will never cease to exist. And good manners is what I've seen in this morning, and this is what I'm talking about with the 10 times 10 times 10. Thank you. Are there any tour guides if I want to see Zagreb, because it's my first time? I buy lunch. So thank you very much for everything. I appreciate it very much. Thanks a lot.